You know, most people spend their lives trying to make things easier. Easier money, easier choices. But here's the truth. The easy road never made anyone strong. Comfort doesn't build character. Ease doesn't teach discipline. It's the hard road that builds the strong mind, the steady heart, and the resilient spirit. Jim Rohn once said, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." That one sentence, if truly understood, can change your entire philosophy about life. Because the purpose of life isn't to eliminate difficulty, it's to rise through it. Doing what's hard is not punishment, it's preparation. It's life's way of stretching you beyond what's convenient, pulling you into your potential. Every challenge, every obstacle, every frustrating season is not there to break you, but to shape you. You see, the human spirit doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in conflict. It grows when you're forced to dig deeper, think sharper, and endure longer than you thought you could. Most people spend their energy avoiding struggle, but the truth is, struggle is the source of strength. Think about it, a muscle doesn't grow when it's resting. It grows when it's being pushed to its limit. The same is true for your mind, your discipline, your confidence. The very moments you label as hard are the moments that build you. They test your faith, your patience, and your character. And those are the real ingredients of greatness. Now, why do most people run from hard things? Because the mind is wired for comfort. It wants safety, predictability, and ease. It tells you, stay where it's warm. Stay where it's familiar. But here's what you must remember. Comfort is the enemy of growth. The mind seeks comfort, but the soul seeks challenge. One will keep you safe, the other will make you strong. You can't have both. You must choose. And the choice to do what's hard is the beginning of personal transformation. When you start doing the hard things, waking up early, staying consistent, saying no to distractions, facing rejection, taking responsibility, something changes inside you. You begin to develop self-trust. You begin to respect yourself because you know you can rely on your own word. And that's powerful, because once you trust yourself, nothing outside of you can defeat you. That's what unstoppable really means. It's not that obstacles disappear. It's that your strength grows greater than the obstacle. There's a kind of peace that only comes from knowing you've endured what others avoided. That you didn't take the shortcut. That you faced what was uncomfortable and turned it into something valuable. Doing what's hard isn't about proving something to the world. It's about proving something to yourself. It's about showing yourself that you are capable of more than you imagined. Because the more you conquer the hard things, the more you expand your capacity to handle life. Jim Rohn used to remind people that life doesn't get easier. You get stronger. And the only way to get stronger is to face resistance. Every challenge you conquer adds to your internal armor. Every discipline you practice builds another layer of stability and control. Over time, the things that once felt impossible become normal. That's how you grow, not by avoiding difficulty, but by outgrowing it. Doing what's hard also teaches you humility. It reminds you that progress is not instant, that growth takes time. It forces you to be patient, to persist, and to respect the process. You stop chasing quick results and start valuing steady effort. You stop wishing for luck and start building skill. That's the difference between those who stay average and those who become exceptional. The average person avoids difficulty. The exceptional person embraces it as part of the journey. And let's be honest, doing what's hard doesn't feel good in the beginning. It challenges your comfort zone, tests your patience, and pushes your limits. But as Jim Rohn would say, the pain of discipline is nothing compared to the pain of regret. The discomfort you feel today will fade, but the strength you gain from it will stay. Every time you choose the harder path, you are investing in your future. You're building endurance, character, and confidence. The three qualities that make a person unstoppable. So, if life feels hard right now, good. That means you're in the middle of your becoming. Don't run from it, rise through it. Don't pray for the challenge to go away. Pray for the wisdom to overcome it. Remember, ease will give you rest, but difficulty will give you power. And here's the beautiful paradox. Once you start doing what's hard, life actually becomes easier. Not because the problems vanish, but because you evolve. You become tougher, wiser, and more capable of handling anything that comes your way. You know, everyone wants to be unstoppable, but very few are willing to do what it takes to get there. It's not talent that separates people. It's not intelligence or luck. It's discipline. Discipline is the great divider between those who dream and those who achieve, between the people who almost make it and the ones who actually do. Jim Rohn said it perfectly. Discipline is the foundation upon which all success is built. Lack of discipline inevitably leads to failure. And that's the truth. Discipline is what keeps you going long after the excitement fades. It's what carries you through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Anyone can be committed when things feel good. That's easy. The question is, can you stay committed when it's hard? When no one's watching? When progress is slow? When comfort calls your name? That's where discipline proves its value. The average person operates on emotion. They do what feels right in the moment. They chase convenience, comfort, and instant reward. But the disciplined person operates on principle. They do what's necessary, not what's easy. And that difference, that simple but powerful difference, determines everything. Because emotion makes promises it doesn't keep, but discipline delivers results every time. See, discipline is not about punishment. It's not about restriction or living without joy. Discipline is self-respect. It's saying to yourself, I am worth keeping my word. It's the ability to control your impulses long enough to honor your intentions. Most people break their word to themselves daily, and every time they do, they lose a little more confidence. But when you start following through, when you do what you said you do even when you don't feel like it, you start building something powerful inside you. Self-trust. And once you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. Jim Rohn used to say that discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. That's a line you should never forget, because the pain of discipline, the discomfort of effort, sacrifice, repetition, is temporary. But the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. The pain of knowing you could have done more, been more, achieved more, if only you'd stayed consistent. And that's a heavy burden to carry. Discipline is not an event, it's a habit. It's built one small decision at a time. You don't become disciplined overnight. You become disciplined through repetition. You wake up early once, that's good. You do it every day, that's transformation. You focus for an hour, that's effort. You focus every day, that's mastery. Discipline is not glamorous. It's often boring, repetitive, and unseen. But that's where greatness grows, in the quiet, ordinary, unseen hours of consistent action. You have to understand, life will always test your discipline. You'll be tempted to cut corners, to give up early, to choose what's easy over what's right. But remember, every decision is a seed. Every time you choose discipline, you plant the seeds of strength, resilience, and confidence. Every time you choose ease, you plant the seeds of doubt, weakness, and regret. The harvest always reflects the seeds you've sown. Philosophically, discipline is more than action. It's identity. It's not just something you do. It's who you become. You don't try to be disciplined. You decide to be. You design your life around it. You plan your days with purpose. You keep your promises to yourself, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. And once discipline becomes part of who you are, consistency becomes natural. It's not forced anymore. It's instinctive. The truth is, discipline gives you freedom. That might sound like a contradiction, but it's not. The undisciplined person is ruled by impulse, by moods, distractions, and external circumstances. The disciplined person is free because they control their time, their focus, and their destiny. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's having the power to do what you must. And when you understand that, you start to look at discipline differently. You stop resenting it, and you start respecting it. Because you realize it's the key to everything you want: success, health, happiness, peace of mind. All of it depends on the ability to consistently do the right thing, even when it's the hard thing. There's a reason why the greats, in any field, all speak about discipline the same way. It's because they've learned that talent opens the door, but discipline keeps you in the room. Talent will get you noticed, but discipline will keep you growing. Talent fades when it's not refined. Discipline ensures you never stop improving. So, ask yourself, what's one area of your life that's waiting for more discipline? Not perfection, just consistency. Because every step you take in discipline compounds. Every repetition adds strength. Every active makes the next one easier. You don't need to be extraordinary to start. You just need to start with discipline. Ordinary people become unstoppable when they do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. You know, people talk a lot about success, about winning, achieving, and becoming their best selves. But very few people talk about what it costs. And make no mistake, there's always a cost. The price of transformation is pain. There's no way around it. Every time you grow, you leave a piece of your old self behind. Every step forward requires you to shed comfort, habits, and beliefs that once made you feel safe. Growth is not smooth. It's a tearing, stretching, uncomfortable process. But it's the only way to become something more than what you were. Jim Rohn once said, "Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills." That line carries a deep truth, because problems aren't there to punish you. They're there to prepare you. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is feedback. It tells you that something is changing. Something is evolving. It's your body, your mind, your spirit adapting to a higher standard. And the moment you begin to see pain as part of progress, you stop running from it and start learning from it. Most people misinterpret pain. They think it means something's wrong. But in reality, pain often means something's right. It means you've stepped out of your comfort zone. It means you've stopped coasting. It means you're doing what most people avoid. And that's where growth lives. You can't evolve while staying the same. You can't get stronger without resistance. You can't become unstoppable if you keep retreating every time life tests you. Think about it this way. The caterpillar must struggle to break free from its cocoon. That struggle builds the strength its wings need to fly. If someone cuts the cocoon open to make it easier, the butterfly will never take flight. The struggle is not a curse. It's a design. Nature built growth into the process of resistance. The same principle applies to you. Every time you face a challenge, you are building the wings you'll need for the next level of your life. Psychologically, pain is a teacher. One of the greatest you'll ever have. It teaches humility when pride grows too loud. It teaches patience when the world moves too fast. It teaches focus when you've been distracted. Pain refines your priorities. It shows you what truly matters. And when you learn to listen, you realize it's not there to stop you, but to shape you. The question isn't, how do I avoid pain? The real question is, how do I interpret it? Because your interpretation determines your transformation. Philosophically, pain tests your relationship with meaning. When something hurts, you have two choices. You can see it as meaningless suffering, or you can give it purpose. When you attach meaning to pain, it becomes strength. Without meaning, it becomes misery. The person who learns to assign purpose to their pain becomes powerful. Because now every setback, every disappointment, every loss is fuel for growth. Nothing is wasted. Everything contributes. You see, success doesn't come to those who escape pain. It comes to those who endure it wisely. The ones who understand that temporary suffering is the pathway to permanent strength. They know that every challenge carries a gift, and every hardship carries a lesson. But you must be willing to go through it, not around it, not above it, but through it. Pain demands your attention, but it also demands your evolution. It asks, will you crumble or will you climb? And every time you choose to climb, something within you hardens. Your will, your patience, your belief in yourself. And that's when you start to change. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Now, I'm not saying you should seek pain for the sake of pain. I'm saying, when it comes, and it will, don't run from it. Face it with wisdom. Study it. Ask it what it's here to teach you. Every great person you admire has been through something hard, something uncomfortable, something painful. And that's exactly what shaped them. Pain didn't stop them, it sculpted them. Jim Rohn would often remind us that the same wind blows on us all. The wind of challenge, difficulty, loss. What matters is not the wind, but the set of your sail. You can't control the pain that comes into your life, but you can control what it makes of you. You can let it harden your heart, or you can let it strengthen your character. You can let it break you down, or you can let it break you open. And here's the truth: once you stop fearing pain, you start unlocking power. You become unshakable, because the person who has learned to turn pain into progress becomes unstoppable. Not because they don't feel pain anymore, but because they've learned how to use it. So the next time life gets hard, don't ask for it to be easier. Ask to be stronger. Don't ask for the pain to go away. Ask for the wisdom to understand it. Because in that moment, you'll discover what every unstoppable person already knows: that pain is not the end of growth, it's the beginning of transformation. Jim Rohn once said, "We must all suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret." That statement might sound simple, but it carries one of the greatest truths about life and success. Because every choice you make today is setting the tone for the life you'll live tomorrow. The hard choice now creates the easy life later. The easy choice now creates the hard life later. It's that simple and that unavoidable. The problem is, most people want both comfort and success. They want the reward without the work, the freedom without the fight, the joy without the journey. But life doesn't work that way. Life gives you exactly what you prepare for. It gives you what you earn through consistency, not what you wish for through convenience. And that's the difference between people who drift and people who design their lives intentionally. When you choose the hard thing today, to wake up early, to save when it's easier to spend, to study when you'd rather scroll, to train when you'd rather rest, you're not just building habits, you're building a future. Every disciplined act becomes a silent investment in your tomorrow. And while others are chasing shortcuts, you're building strength. Because shortcuts might get you there faster, but they can't keep you there. Foundation takes time, and that time is paid for in effort. Jim Rohn used to say, "What's easy to do is also easy not to do." That's the paradox of success. Success rarely hides behind grand, impossible tasks. It hides behind small, simple actions, done every single day. The hard part isn't the complexity of the task, it's the consistency of the discipline. That's why so few follow through. They underestimate the power of small decisions and then overestimate the cost of doing hard things. But in truth, the cost of not doing them is always greater. Think about it: a person who avoids hard work doesn't just avoid effort, they also avoid growth. And the price they pay for that avoidance shows up later in the form of regret, mediocrity, or lost potential. Meanwhile, the person who embraces difficulty gains something far more valuable than ease. They gain capacity. They expand what they're capable of. They build resilience, patience, and strength. They learn to carry weight, and that's what makes them unstoppable. Philosophically, this principle is rooted in one of life's great dualities: short-term pain for long-term gain. You can't escape the struggle. You can only choose when to face it. The wise choose to struggle early, to pay their dues up front. The unwise postpone the struggle until it compounds into regret. You can't escape the bill, but you can decide when and how you'll pay it. And if you pay it now through discipline and commitment, the reward later is freedom. There's a kind of freedom that comes from doing what's hard. It's the freedom of control, the quiet confidence of knowing you're in charge of your direction, your habits, your destiny. Most people live reactive lives, constantly adjusting to circumstances they created by avoiding responsibility. But the person who does what's hard today gets to live intentionally tomorrow. They make choices from a place of strength, not desperation. Let's take this even deeper. Every hard choice you make now redefines your identity. When you consistently choose effort over ease, your self-image changes. You start seeing yourself as capable, dependable, resilient. You become the kind of person who can trust their own word. And once that belief solidifies, it becomes a force. Because the person who believes in their ability to endure will never be held back by fear. Jim Rohn often emphasized the compounding effect of small disciplines. He said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." That means every small act matters, not because of its immediate result, but because of the momentum it builds. The disciplined person doesn't just do what's hard once. They do it until it becomes second nature. And that consistency creates the kind of life that others call lucky or blessed, when in truth, it's simply earned. Now, here's the part that separates thinkers from doers. Knowing all this isn't enough. You have to live it. You have to wake up every day and make those hard choices. Not for applause, not for recognition, but for your own evolution. Because when you do what's hard, something incredible happens. Life starts working with you, not against you. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like the architect of your own destiny. There's an old truth that says, if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what's hard, your life will be easy. It's not about the absence of struggle. It's about the strength that struggle gives you. The person who does what's hard today earns the peace that others spend a lifetime searching for. Because freedom doesn't come from avoiding discipline. It comes from mastering it. So as you walk out of this room or finish this moment, remember this: every time you're faced with a hard choice, you're standing at the intersection of two futures. One leads to regret. The other leads to power. And the difference between the two isn't luck, it's choice.